What's up? It's your girl T back with another video. And today of Millennial Chronicles, what I want to talk about is the negative feedback that childless women in their 30s and beyond tend to get. And I know this is something that doesn't receive the best feedback, especially from the side of the person who is childless. However, I think that there are some key things that need to be said. And the reason why this was brought up is because I recently had to deal with a insufferable gremlin, you know? Or how I could better sum it, I'm just gonna say a CFD. And what that stands for is cattle for the data centers. This insufferable individual may find this video, but I'm okay with that. We all knew that the relationship was not going to last anyway. And here we are. So I like to think of myself as a very diplomatic person. I enjoy having good relations with people. I try not to rock the boat with people and, just be open to everyone's life. Everybody is entitled to live how they want to live, same as me. So vice versa, I expect that kind of thought process in relationships that are going to be a part of my life. However, this CFD just did not want to operate in that capacity. And the thing that blows my mind is that I do believe that when you become a parent, you are supposed to grow in wisdom. You know what it's like being a single person. You understand that concept because we all start out as being single. And you have the opportunity to grow and learn and understand what it means to be a parent. So you have a lot of knowledge to gain. You have a lot of knowledge to share to the world and just pour into yourself. I think that's a very beautiful thing. And I want to start off by putting this out there. This video is not directed towards parents that be out there like really handling their business. I take my hats off to parents who do what they need to do, because being a parent, I know it's not easy. It's 24/7, nonstop. It can be mentally, physically, emotionally, socially taxing. And I think that it's a very beautiful thing to pour into another human being, or human beings, plural, in a selfless way. I think that's a very beautiful thing to contribute to the world. And so I don't want to take that credit from those who are out there just, doing a thing and just really loving being a parent and just pouring into it. And I also want to add that there's nothing wrong with having children. There's nothing wrong with not having children. Live your life how you want to. We're all entitled to live however we want to live. Just be okay with what follows afterwards. So I think both sides of life are beautiful. I think it's something that should be appreciated from both sides. However, let's get back to the key contributor of this topic, the CFD, cattle for the data centers. I find it disturbing when you have to encounter individuals who you can tell did not put much thought into having children. And rather than come to terms with that, they would rather interact with you and tell you why, you're not doing what you're supposed to do as a adult to contribute to society, and you're pretty much selfish. I think that's a very narrow-minded place to come from. I think that shows how limited of a thought capacity a person has, and how limited of self-awareness and really awareness for those around that this person has, which is why it isn't really that it doesn't really make me angry, because it's easy to just capture or just really understand where this person is coming from, even though they don't understand where you're coming from. And it's a very small group. I don't think that this is the mass majority of parents at all. And I think people who, there are people, loving parents out there who have planned parenthood, who wanted to be a parent, want to pour into somebody, and then people who, weren't planning it but still stepped up and they take care of their business. However, who I'm talking about are people who you can tell did not have two thoughts past conception. The first thought was, and the second thought was, oops, I didn't use protection. And so I think that these kind of people tend to be very not narrow-minded. Like, they expect for people to accommodate them as well as share their same perspective. And the first thing that I was told was that, you're selfish. It's selfish. A person is selfish if you don't want to have children and you don't want to contribute to society. So that's a two-part topic that I want to touch on. So let's start with the selfishness. I don't see anything wrong with being selfish if you are childless. And really, just at the basic level of being a human being, there's nothing wrong with being selfish. You have to take care of yourself. You have to pour into yourself. And from the childless perspective, I think it takes a big person to just really understand and map out and just put out there and be final in the decision that, yeah, I'm selfish. I don't want none of my resources to go towards another person. Like, I think that takes a big person to just really, see that and be okay with that and make a educated decision off of that, knowing that, hey, you don't want to give nothing to no child, so why would you bring someone in this world that you don't plan on pouring to? There's no point in doing that, and there's no point in adding another traumatized soul to this world. Number two, the whole contributing to society. I think this person is gotta be blind or living up under a rock, because have you actually looked and seen what is happening in society, what is going on? And not everything is bad about society, but there's a lot of things that have a lot of room that need improvement. And why would you want to bring a person into this world, into that? And just because you don't add another person to society doesn't mean that you're not contributing. Your life is still here. You're still existing as an entity. You have every single day that you're blessed to wake up with, to contribute and to make things better around you. And I think that it shows how limited in capacity a person can operate off of without realizing that and understanding that. And then going back to the whole selfish thing, you can't just look at it from the childless perspective, that the person with no child, but you also have to look at it from the person with the child. Because my whole thought process is that you were too selfish. You had your own selfish wants and selfish needs, that you didn't take any time to think about this person that you were going to bring into the world. You didn't plan. You didn't think about how the future was going to be. You didn't do none of that. And yeah, you might come back and say, oh, yes, I did. The actions, the thoughts, the mindset does not show it. So I think that people who get off of just expecting for you to just, live within their norms, I think that is a unreasonable place to operate from. As well as, again, touching on norms, that is something that you should do. It's the normal thing to do. You don't know how many times people interact with me and the first thing they say, how many children you have. Like, none. There are people 30 plus that exist with no children. None. Maybe you should start by asking, do I have children? No, it's not an offensive question, but I think that it just shows how people just assume that you do what everybody else is doing. And yeah, there are some other people who are doing different things. There are people out here who exist like that. Another thing that is often brought up when I interact with these type of individuals is that, well, what's your purpose? What is going to fulfill you in life? I laugh because there's quite a lot of things that could be of fulfillment in life. And the list goes on. There is so much. And it's beautiful for you to live for a person and that's your purpose. That's what drives you to wake up and do what you do every day. Nothing wrong with that. That's a very beautiful thing. However, people have other purposes, other fulfillments in life, that they seek, that they go after. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, life is pretty good traveling in some foreign country with somebody's daughter. That's not a bad gig at all. That's pretty fulfilling to me. So I think people are so like closed-minded just in this box that they often forget that there are other people in this world as well, living their own life and doing their own thing, and going about their day, living their little individual lives. So it's kind of like, I'm not gonna say it's like frustrating to interact with these individuals, but the patience that I have is very limited, or very, very small, because I prefer not to interact with these kind of individuals. And one thing that I noticed that they have a habit of is having such a pessimistic outlook of how you spend your personal time, what you do with yourself, and the fact that you don't want to be accommodating to what they have going on. I think it's like they come from this place of where this is what you are supposed to do because I have XYZ. My guy, I got my own life. I have my own things going on. Last time I checked, we are two separate entities. So I think I don't want to say, I try not to be like negative and say like it's a crazy way to think, because I think that people are entitled to their own, thought processes and things of that nature. Just don't force it on anybody else. Like, it's okay for you to operate out of whatever capacity you want to operate out of. Just don't force it on anybody else. That's my biggest thing. Cause like things that I may be into or things that I believe and want to do, I'm not gonna come into your life and barge in and be questioning what you got going on with your child or whatever. Like, that's not my place. That's just not me, and that's not what I'm gonna do. So yeah, I don't get it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even think I have the patience to even try to get it. Really don't care. But I just have to I just wanted to say something about it. And yeah, I think that there are people out there who just fail to realize how much has to go into taking care of a person, taking care of a child. Like, my opinion, if you're gonna be a parent, it's all or nothing. You should want to be on 200 when it comes to your child, pouring into them and making sure that they are a functioning adult in society. Like, who wouldn't want to do that? And I pride myself because I've accepted that that's just not something that I want to do. That's just not something I see myself doing. But for those who do it, I take my hat off to you. Like, my folks did it, so I take my hat off. But I think it takes a very special type of person to be a parent, and another special type of person to understand that they're not parent material. And in today's society, I would even say I think there's a lot of people who don't think about it, who just do it because it's the thing to do. And I guess it's easy. It is easy, just popping out a baby with no thoughts, like afterthought of, you know how am I gonna pour into this person? How am I not gonna make sure or pour my traumatic habits or tendencies into this person? Like, you don't want to create a person or damage a person, as they go through life and they look back at you after 18 years and like, Mom, yeah, you weren't the best. You My childhood and growing up was a very traumatic experience. What parent wants to hear that? Nobody. So I think when that it just isn't for you, and there's nothing wrong with it. I think it takes a big person to just really acknowledge that and say that. And so that's just something that I encounter from time to time as somebody that's in my mid 30s. And I send appreciation to parents. I send appreciation to my childless bros and sis holding you down. And so that's something that I just wanted to just talk about and touch on. And to the insufferable gremlin or CFD, I hope you find some form of education and get off that smooth brain type shit. But anywho, y'all have a good evening. It is Peachy out. Oh yeah. If you guys like what's going on, y'all like what I'm talking about, please chat back with me, comment. I really do enjoy the feedback, as well as like, comment, and subscribe. And this time for real, peachy out.